Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, the Two Giant Goofballs New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm me, Rob. Let's talk about this 100th anniversary nonsense.
Oh, yes, we have all kinds of stuff to talk about. And I got to start by apologizing to y'all here because I had a little bit of computer technical difficulties. I don't want Rob to be the one getting the blame because he's the usual culprit. It was all me last night. It was all me. I went to, my computer was running really, really slow, went to restart it, and of course it wanted to do all these updates, and an hour later I finally was able to get back on with the internet and everything. It was a lot of fun. But here we are, all updated, all refreshed from my vacation. I'm back from jet setting around the Caribbean. For anybody who happens to be curious, Icon of the Seas, the new largest cruise ship ever built, is absolutely freaking amazing.
Just rub it in, Drew. No big deal.
I am as the ghost enters your room. Got to go to Honduras, Mexico, Bahamas. A lot of fun. And on my trip, I like to pick up weird things. Oh, there we go. Oh, yes.
Is that a conch shell?
No, this is a Giants helmet skull here that I picked up in Mexico. They have a lot of NFL merchandise in Mexico. Obviously not validated by the NFL, even though it does have the logo in the back. Where else in the world will you find a skull wearing a Giants helmet? Only in Mexico.
Florida?
Only in Mexico. No, they won't sell them here. That's licensed by the NFL there. See?
Touche.
But yeah, a lot of fun. I know. I heard that Connor and John were interested in a slideshow of my vacation. So here, I'm kidding. No, I won't bore you guys with detail. I know no one cares that much. It's okay. But I had a lot of fun. Definitely took advantage of the drink package. So let's get into all the news here. We had a lot of stuff to go over here today, guys. Breaking news here that just happened tonight here. Not a major move, but we want to give you guys all the news that comes out here for the Giants. Giants went ahead and waived running back Deion Jackson there. Of course, spent 1 year with the Giants last season after also playing for the Colts and the Browns. We talked about him in our running back room conversation we had there. He ended up being injured, cleared waivers. Once you clear waivers as an injured player, you end up on the IR automatically because you can't outright cut an injured player. So they came to an agreement on an injury settlement there. So he is officially done with his time with the New York Football Giants there. I'm sure he'll be on number team 7 here in the last 2 years very quickly. I'm kidding. Yeah, no, I'm honestly, if he's on the IR like that, they probably don't expect him to play this year. But either way, if they do, they don't want him on the Giants necessarily. So maybe he's still taking up a roster spot at that point on the IR. So it's time to move on. So let's get into the big stuff here. Because a lot happened while I was going. I know Rob gave you guys a coverage here on our schedule release there. And we talked a little bit about the 100th anniversary. At that time, they had just released the logo, which was a nice logo. I'll give them credit on the logo. The logo.
Put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, they put too much thought into it, I feel like. That was like,
okay,
I get it's a big deal. It's 100 years, but really, like, you're doing the O's in the shape of stadiums. Like,
what's the zeros? Yeah.
It was a little excessive. It's a little excessive. But they also announced a whole bunch of 100th season special stuff they're going to do as well there. So the big one is the Giants 100 A Night with Legends event on June 20th in New York City, where they're known for making salsa. So if anybody actually gets that reference, by the way, you're awesome. The legends on hand for A Night with Legends will be Eli Manning, Harry Carson, Tiki Barber, George Martin, Jason Sehorn, Bill Parcells, and Tom Coughlin. And then fans can also vote on the greatest play in team history on the team's website, and they're going to announce that during that night as well. So tickets are $25 a piece, by the way. Not a bad deal. I'm actually going to be in Jersey when that goes on, but I'll be at my nephew's high school graduation that day, so sadly I will not be able to attend.
I think he might understand.
No, he won't. You graduate high school one time.
How many times are you going to have this new party?
Listen, I'll go to the next one in 100 years.
Yeah, sure.
But I look like this guy.
Yeah.
We'll
have your great grandkid bring you in.
Other events, they're going to have an Eli Manning bobblehead at Yankee Stadium on August 4th when they host the Toronto Blue Jays. First 18,000 fans will get a free Eli Manning bobblehead wearing a Yankees uniform, courtesy of the Dunkin' Donuts there. So anybody who's a Yankee fan and a Giant fan might be kind of a cool game to go do for that reason. I haven't heard if they're doing anything else, but it wouldn't shock me, I'll put it that way, if somebody happens to pop in that has 2 Super Bowl rings. Yeah, they're giving bobblehead. It would make sense for him to be there. Let's see. The Giants are also going to be celebrating their top 100 players throughout the summer, starting in July. And Bob Papa, voice of the Giants there, will be hosting a podcast also players. So that'd be kind of fun. We like doing Giants history. Rob and I had a lot of fun doing a lot of that.
Yeah.
Learned a lot too. Listen, I'll be honest. There's some of the guys we talked about, I didn't know who the hell they were beforehand. So it was educating for us.
20 years of Giants football is a long time to go over.
It's a lot. Plenty of merchandise, of course, as well. Merchandising. Everybody gets that. And the other reference, you were double cool.
New York Giants flamethrower. The kids love it.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. So
they're gonna get my Schwartz tangled.
They're gonna have helmets, hats, shirts. They got a book and everything, so they got all kinds of stuff there going on. They're also gonna have a documentary called The Duke, all about Wellington Mara, not of course the Duke of Earl, that'll debut this fall on the NFL Network there. So plenty of stuff going on there. So definitely a lot of fun there. I'm glad they're doing something big with it. It's not, you don't hit 100 all the time. Like most teams are nowhere near that. So
I think the Titans are around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's the patch we talked about there. I mean, that's nice. That's nice. But I'll tell you what's not nice. What's not nice is those ugly uniforms. Those anniversary uniforms, which are possibly quite frankly, the worst uniforms I've ever seen anywhere near NFL football field.
Hey, stop.
Except that Kelly green color. That team is the worst.
No. How about the throwbacks that the Steelers wear like every...
I knew you were going to do it, the Bumblebee one.
The Bumblebee.
This one makes the Bumblebee
black
one.
And yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
As John sticks up, he says, Roberto told us about the patch. He did. I wanted to show you guys too. It's a video. We have
Thanks,
visual.
John. Appreciate you, bro.
We have visual. I know he did. I listened. I was in the casino getting drunk listening.
I described it. It was like,
yeah.
Put it to everyone's imagination.
And as John also says, those uniforms were from way back when. Yeah,
like 100 years ago.
Get it? Yeah. I mean, that's what you're looking at. I mean, these things are like absolutely hideous. So
yeah, I'm gonna get a Malik Neighbors in the 100th year anniversary. You see me rocking.
We don't know what number he's gonna have yet. Can't even buy him yet. So they got tan pants with red and blue striped socks, which are a throwback to 1925. The century red jersey, which kind of has, those are listening in the audio later on, have almost like Michigan Wolverine helmets in red and blue. Think of it that way. Yeah, so you got the wing style helmets that are from 1937 to 1947. The century red jersey, which I don't know why they call it century red. Like, what the hell is century red? And I must have missed that Crayola crown growing up. But that one goes back to 1933 with the font as well from that year. Obviously, they're going to have the patch as well on there. And yeah, these are being mocked huge. And guys, they definitely should. They definitely should. It's like, and my issue is the pants.
I was about to say,
I don't like the shirt. Don't get me wrong, but I don't like the shirt. Don't get me wrong, but I get it. You're trying to do a throwback to 100 years, whatever. the tan pants got to go.
Yeah.
They should be red. They should be blue. They should be something.
Probably white.
I would have been okay with white and red and blue stripes, but they were trying to go for old school, what they used to wear. And I get that, but it just looks ridiculous. It's like, you ever go to okay, this is going to sound weird, and I'm going to sound a little stuck up over this, but I'm going to say it anyway. You ever go to a fancier event, and there's a guy dressed up in a nice suit, jacket, and a a nice tie and a button-down shirt, and he's got khakis on. It looks a little ridiculous. Listen, we all know somebody with that. We all have a person in our lives, in our family or something, that wears that, or wears the flannel shirt with the goes that far into it with a tie on. But it just seems out of place. And it just makes the whole thing look absolutely ridiculous. It really does.
Yes, that was my biggest gripe about the whole thing. I like the jersey itself, but I'm going to be rocking those with some jeans or something. So
yeah,
it's not gonna look as bad.
Like I said, it just looks ridiculous, and I feel bad. Even Bleak Neighbors made a comment about it. He says it's hard to put swag to this. I think was the exact words he used. You can't. There's no way to look cool in that, okay? It's like the school uniform that you're forced to wear so nobody looks different.
Let's give kudos to Bleak Neighbors for being fantastic on X.
Oh, listen, he has been very good on Twitter.
I have to say.
Yeah, he has. He's already talking about championships. I love hearing that. My goal is championships, he said. There you go. Not often you hear a receiver say it. Usually it's my goal is 2,000 yards.
Yeah. We're going to do what it takes to win.
He's winning me over there, but those uniforms are not winning anybody over. Even one of the mascots of, I want to say it was the Vikings, mocked us on Twitter. That's what they're doing. So, yeah, not cool, and not cool. Let's see. John says also, he says, yeah, but those throwbacks, those uniforms were from way back when. I like them. It's like King of Queens meets an American flag. I'm not even sure what that means. King of Queens meets. Because the khakis. Because Doug used to work for the delivery. Was it UPS or Fed? Yeah, UPS. He worked for
UPS.
John says, yeah, they like it doesn't match, but they're from different eras. Mismatch is in now. When I was a kid, my mom would tell me wearing tell it me wearing mismatch. I'm like, Mom, I have a pic where I have a flannel shirt, different pants, and my leather jacket because I'm a huge Elvis Presley fan, holding a broom because I don't have a guitar yet. Did you get your guitar yet, John? Listen, John, I'm going to tell you this. If you, John, can play guitar, we will have you come on the show. We will put you on the show to play guitar.
But legit guitar. Don't just sit there and go, da, 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 da.
No. Here's what I want. I want motivational music movie kind of sound when you do that. I think it's like you do a it once has the sound like boop 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 when someone walks. I want that kind of music when people are doing stuff for the Giants. We'll do that preseason week 1, John. Come on.
Be fantastic.
All righty, guys. Let's get into our next topic here, which we got to talk about Carl Banks. Carl Banks on the topic again here because Carl Banks said something kind of interesting here on his show, the Bleav in Giants podcast with him and Bob Papa. Oops, I hit the wrong button here. Ignore that.
Yeah.
we're not at that part yet.
We're so far away.
But yeah, so he was on with Bob Papa on the Bleav in Giants podcast that they do. Good show, by the way. I like it because I just like listening to those too, especially the off season. It kind of reminds me of when the season was going on. You know what I'm saying? You feel like you're into the season because those are the guys who do the play-by-play and all. As we got, there we go. There it is. Finally found the right graphic here. You can tell I'm out of practice now, taking a couple of days vacation. Here was Carl Banks' exact comments, and it kind of had people stirred up afterwards. He said, I think we're in Goofy Land right now, which I don't know if he was playing on Disney there, but if so, I like it.
No, he
He said,
listens to the podcast. It's definitely talking about the goofballs.
It definitely was.
Yeah.
I did meet him, remember? We did invite him on the show even, and he
Yeah.
promptly ignored us. He said, he's like, let me think about that.
Oh, my guys, call your guys. We are
like,
those guys.
He says, let's preface this. There's a certain sector of folks that call themselves Giant fans that have made it their life's work to blank on Daniel Jones, is the quote I got here. Obviously, he didn't say blank. I'm going to guess he probably said a word that was poop without the word poop in it. He says, and it's to the point, and they don't even realize it, it's to the point where they're so goofy with these takes that it's making Daniel Jones a sympathetic figure. And what it's doing is forcing people, which I'm seeing more and more of, forcing people to say, look, he didn't have certain things, and there were certain things in place. And he's had several different coaching staffs. And so this consistent beating on a guy that you're supposed to be a fan of his team, it's just outright goofy. It's so overdone right now. It's not exhausting. It's tired. Which I'm guessing that tired is past exhausting. Is that what's going on?
I guess so. I guess you're not.
I thought exhausting is worse.
Being tired.
Exhausted is worse than tired. I don't know. But let's kind of take this for what it is too. Let's be honest here. Again, we talked about Carl Banks, Bob Papa, the voice of the Giants. That means they work for
the family.
Giants. Yeah. So I don't trust fully that. And listen, I'm wrong. I think Carl Banks has no problem going at it with people on certain things. But he's definitely a company man to a certain degree. And I'm not knocking him. The man's getting paid by them. I can't knock my boss publicly.
Correct. And also at same token, like if he got on the side and they said, hey, DJ's going to be our guy this year, of course he's going to defend him.
Yeah.
He's got to. He's got to make sure he makes the guy that decides his paychecks look like they're making a smart decision.
And he's not 100% wrong. Like we've talked about it before in this show. Like we don't think Daniel Jones is the guy. Like we don't think that at all. We hoped it was the last couple of years, but we kind of come to terms with the fact that he's probably not the guy long term. Doesn't mean we're not going to root for the guy. He's a good guy by all accounts. Hard worker, friendly guy. Loved
he's
by
a leader of men.
Like he's not climbing into the stands and crying in his mommy's lap. I mean, I'm just had to do that because he's a leader of men. But it's like there's nothing wrong with rooting for the guy and also recognizing that his ceiling is probably not where he wished it was.
Correct.
You can have both. And I'll say this, there are people within Giants media and within Giants content creators that are in that category. They're just point blank Giant haters. No matter what's going on, they hate them. And it's like their negativity gets them views, gets them clicks, and they just keep going with it.
I was going to say.
People buy into that. I don't know why people can't be level-headed like this and say, listen, he's not the guy we wish he was, but we're going to root for him as long as we got him. That to me doesn't sound crazy at all.
Not at all.
It's very rare when I'm the one saying things. I'm scared. Hold me.
Oh, jeez.
All righty. So it's that time of the year. So let's talk about the OTAs because the OTA started up here. And every single year, I feel like there's a little bit of confusion on what the OTAs are. So I figured real quick, we kind of refresh you guys here. So the off-season workouts began officially April 15th. The phase initially was just meeting, strength and conditioning, rehab, the kind of stuff that you do late work, nothing people are getting together, throwing, playing football and stuff like that. The next 3 weeks were on-field workouts and drills. Most of that is specific, like, hey, this is the group of receivers. Go do this. Here's the group of linemen. We're going to teach you punch in here. Like, we want to just keep practicing this. Like, that's more of what they're doing. Now we get 10 organized team activities, OTAs. So there's no live contact whatsoever. Let me be very clear on that. So you got to take a little bit of the grain of salt, what you see there. And then with that, you got 7 on 7s, 9 on 7s, 11 on 11s. It's basically one big orgy, it sounds like.
Yeah, that's about to say. Did you buy your ticket?
It's like the people on the cruise boat with the upside down pineapple.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that one. But yeah, so let's take a look. So it's the first time basically the entire team lines up for practice each year. So it's a fun time because it means like we're this much closer to getting football again.
Oh, yay.
Absolutely, we're this much closer to getting football going. So yeah, so we guys said we got 2 already gone. We're gonna give you guys the first rundown. Like I said, there's 10 altogether there. So let's talk about what to look for here. Because again, we talked about this is not live drills. This is purely people lining up, people doing touch football kind of scenarios, nothing too crazy. The main thing basically is you want everybody to get comfortable with the playbook. There's a lot of new guys in every year. They got to get comfortable with that playbook. You don't get comfortable by reading it. You get comfortable by doing things, running those drills. Got to keep everybody healthy.
With the guys you're going to run them with.
Oh yeah, got to keep everybody healthy. You don't want any injuries. And again, there's no live contact, so there should not be any injuries. But things do happen. You turn the wrong way, you plant the wrong foot. Next thing you know, things happen.
ACL, meniscus, pulled
hamstring, exactly. You want to allow the coaches to see what works and what doesn't. Because keep in mind, it's not just the players getting used to the playbook. It's the coaches getting used to the players within that playbook. There are things they will change as they realize what's the strength and weaknesses of the people they've picked up this year. New faces. Got to learn what they are and what they do. And sometimes it's also, as you mentioned, who you're working next to and how does that affect you, especially with things like the line.
I was about to say, this will help the offensive line big time because you got to jive with the crew that you're going to ride with.
Yes. And I mean, unfortunately, not as much as live drills will later on, but it's still, you kind of get used to seeing where people step, how they step, what their timing is and stuff like that. That's big. The other thing is it allows them to kind of start gelling as a unit, as a team. You said which is important there. We do also, though, always caution you, though, to not get too caught up in the hype train. The OTAs are closed to the public, and reports about them are definitely geared to always be positive because those reports are coming directly from
the Giants. Remember last year when, Waller was a unicorn, spectacular, amazing.
Yeah.
We talked about
Hawkins.
What's his face? Oh, yeah.
What's his face? He did so little in the regular season, but he was amazing in that. In the
Riley.
Camp.
My God.
I mean,
our 7th round pickup. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Like national news on him because people sort of buying the hype. But yeah, I mean, that's what you got in the off season there. When the Giants control the media coverage tends to be very, very positive. So you notice things like they'll say, "Oh, so and so caught a touchdown," but they won't tell you who is covering on that play. Or so and so got an interception, but they won't tell you who threw the interception. Like that's the kind of stuff they do to make it all positive and all hunky dory and everything's all yay, tra la la,
smoke and mirrors and
exactly. So we'll still give you what's going on because it's still nice to talk about because it's actual football activity. But you got to take it with that grain of salt. And I mean, like one of that like thick, like Himalayan salt kind of things like that.
Yeah, sea salts.
Yeah. Exactly.
Where you need the grinder.
Grind it. All right. Let's get into day one, which was yesterday. So OTA report here for day one. So the big news was, and this is where I like to report these kind of things, what's going on. Daniel Jones was actually out there. That was kind of a shock for people. He was again, non-contact. So if you're going to take a chance, somebody coming back from an injury, it's a good time to give him, a little bit of work with some people he may not be too familiar working with, like Malik Neighbors. But it was still nice just to see him out there, see him working. Again, we talked about it previously on the podcast. We don't necessarily think he's the long-term answer, but he's still our quarterback. We're still going to root for him. We're still happy to see him because, like it or not, he probably is our best option at quarterback this year. So, unless all of a sudden it's the man of God. provolone and Vito does something crazy, or
he gets the
but yeah,
shootout.
it's the pasta visual.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, he's it's good to see him there. It means he's getting good healthy wise there. Plus his eyes weren't all bug eyed. That was nice to see.
Yeah, so he
I don't
was
know
all
what was wrong
cracked
with him
out.
that one day. Oh my god. Now most of the team drills they ran were basically just outside of the end zone. First touchdown of the OTAs was caught by new running back Devin Singletary. The undrafted rookie free agent Alex Johnson. I just said Alan Jackson for some reason.
Sorry, Alex Jackson. Didn't mean
No.
to misname you.
No, Alan Jackson, the
Yeah.
country music singer. I don't know why. But yeah, undrafted rookie cornerback Alex Johnson got the first interception of the day, and obviously, therefore, the first interception of OTAs. Malik Neighbors had a few catches as well. That's always good to see to get him involved early on. Rookie cornerback Drew Phillips also had a nice play breaking up a pass. Also, rookie tight end Theo Johnson had a catch as well. And you notice what I'm saying here about the OTAs. You notice he got an interception. Johnson got an interception. Against who? Who knows? Devin Singletary against who? Who knows? Every positive is a negative as well. And when you're playing inter-team practices like this, guys. And if you notice again, they made sure to tell us about the fact what the rookies did at that point there. What the new running back did, things that they're focused on. Because let's be honest, Devin Singletary is a very important part of what's going to happen this year potentially, because he's the man who's going to try to replace some of what Saquon was.
Correct. I was about to say, you think it was coincidence that he got the first touchdown in OTAs?
What was that? Sorry?
Do you think it was a coincidence that he was the first touchdown in OTAs?
Or
do you think they were trying to say, or do you think they were saying, hey, listen, we know we don't have Barkley, but we got a really good guy to come up and maybe do some of what he did?
I think that it's definitely, again, it's the media hype. This is what they want to do. This is what they want. They're going to pump up Devin Singletary so much. He's going to be the new Darren Waller for them. He's a unicorn. It's going to happen probably.
It's amazing. How many teams was he on?
And
wow.
Well, this is his third team, but he's been a good player. I'm not knocking him.
Yeah, you should have knocked him.
He's not a scrub. He's a B tier running back. We had an A tier. Again, I'm not saying we should have signed Barkley. That's a lot of money. That's for a guy who's getting a little up there in age and has injury issues. But yeah, he's a B tier. So that's not bad at that point. If you're going to replace an A tier, it's hard to get up with another A tier. Replacing with the B tier is not bad. But you also notice they pumped up the rookies. These rookies are going to be a big part of our success this season. If you want to have success with the team that, made a couple of moves, mostly on the, the offensive line and, trading for Brian Burns. But if you want to have, as this team, a huge uptick in quality of play, it's going to be hitting it out of the park with this rookie class.
Yeah. I mean, a good draft could change the team around big time. Like, we are a Giants podcast, but I mean, look what the Packers did the past couple of years.
Yep.
The youngest team of the NFL. Not saying that they're great, but they
Lions.
Yeah.
Lions a good example as well. I mean,
better example, I guess.
Well, I mean, saying just in general. I mean, they got some young receivers. They got a really good tight end this past year. They had linebacker they got out of the draft last year. They got a couple of really good players at that point. No, all pro. It's not like they picked up Puka Nacua there, but they got consistent good play from all their rookies. And that's what we're going to need if we're going to have an increase this year in quality of play for the New York Giants here. So hopefully it's not all fluff and it's actual legit.
Yeah.
They did good. So we'll see there. Let's get it on to today, guys, because today was day 2 here for them. So day 2 report. Boop-a-da-boo. The big news that I kept hearing a lot about from people is the offensive line. I know Talking Giants talked about the offensive line. The lineup they mentioned they saw specifically was Andrew Thomas, obviously at left tackle, Jermaine Illuminor at left guard, JMS obviously at center, John Runyon Jr. at right guard, and right tackle was the burger flipper, Evan Neal.
Yeah.
So looks like Evan Neal is going to be having the starting job to start the camp. The question is, can he hold on to it?
It's his to lose.
Yeah, it really is. And I get why they kind of have to do that. As a 7th overall pick, you have to give him every chance to fail. But if he doesn't show you something this offseason, you can't start the season with him. I'm sorry. You can't. Especially that Jermaine Illuminor, who, like I said, playing left guard right now, but the guy is primed and ready to go for the right tackle position because he's played there the last couple of years. So
yeah.
So Kayvon Thibodeau and another newcomer there, Brian Burns, we're also seen working out a lot together. So it's good to see those two kind of getting along. The question is, who's Batman and who's Robin?
Ooh.
Oh, yes. Maybe they're 2 Green Arrows.
I was going to say, there could be a Nightwing.
No, Nightwing. Nightwing and Robin? I mean, I don't know. I feel like
Red
once you put Batman, I like Batman and Superman. That's what I would like. That kind
there
of
we go.
Except them fighting and then...
I was about to say, no fighting.
Yes, and then solving their troubles by realizing their mothers both had the same first name.
Martha.
My mother's name is Martha. Really?
No, my mother's.
Oh my god, that was the most ridiculous movie of all time.
Maybe not all time, but it's up there.
At least that year. But yeah, Devin Singletary. Oh, crazy! We're talking about Devin Singletary. He worked with the line today as well, learning basically them together, scheming to having to pick up different blitz packages together. So glad to hear they're doing that with him. Devin Singletary is a pretty good pass pro back. That's one of the knocks if you're going to knock our former running back Saquon Barkley. And I'm not trying to kick the guy on the way out, but we all talked about it his whole career. He wasn't a good pass protection guy. He wasn't the guy you kept back there to keep Daniel Jones safe. Devin Singletary is that guy. He does do that very well. So it's going to be interesting how that helps the offensive line as well. And you got to wonder if part of that is maybe the decision why they didn't keep Barkley as well. They might have wanted a guy who can do this, and that wasn't Barkley. The team portion of the practice today was all in the red zone, mostly within the 10-yard line. 2 touchdowns in the first portion there. Tommy DeVito scrambled to find Malik Neighbors in the back of the end zone. So Malik Neighbors gets his first touchdown of the OTAs there. For some reason, my light's just sort of dimming, so hopefully I don't lose power in a minute. I don't know what just happened there. And then Nathan Rook, we talked about him, the guy we just picked up from the Patriots by way of the Jaguars by way of Canada A. Threw a shovel pass to wide receiver Miles Boykin there. Later in practice, Gunnar Olszewski, we talked about him, a lot as far as the special teams because he's been a punt returner almost exclusively his whole career there, was used pretty often though as a wide receiver today, including catching 2 TD passes. So I'm wondering, and we've talked about this, in our wide receiver episode we did, him only playing special teams makes it more difficult to win a roster spot this year. There's no guarantees going to make the squad. So he's going to have to do something on offense and prove some worth there. So I think they're giving him every chance to do so. It was definitely a good upgrade for us at the punt return there. But, yeah, that's not saying much. Eric Gray was the guy back there before him. So it's like, well, poop, not poop, poop, not poop.
Just a little bit of poop.
Yeah, exactly. Wasn't difficult to beat that out there. Jalen Hyatt got a touchdown also from Tommy DeVito. Tight end Tyree Jackson got one as well, and Miles Boykins ended the team practice with back-to-back touchdowns from Drew Lock. Bobby Okereke and Ryder Anderson combined for what would have been a sack during the practice there. Trey Hawkins III also knocked a ball away in the end zone. Jalen Mills got an interception as well there. So got to give some props to the defense. Listen, if anybody's ever watched a 7-on-7, 11-on-11 kind of drill at that point there, it's really difficult for defense to make it's definitely offensive geared. So when you're hearing a lot more on the positive on offense than you are on defense, realize that's why. There's only so long you can cover. Like, it's hard. You can't really sack because you can't really hit the guy. And the quarterback knows that. So it's like it's just different how you play overall.
Correct.
The other thing we got to point out is the Giants media was laying it on pretty thick today. Like, if it was any thicker, it'd be a milkshake from Sonic. Like, it's the Daniel Jones Bleav neighbors photos. It's like anytime those two were together, they got out the old zoom lens there and took a picture as if these guys are bosom buddies here, like Tom Hanks here. And they're really trying to make us believe that these guys have a relationship and these guys are working out well and stuff like that. And that's not me saying they're not. It just seems a little forced. Like,
yeah, especially after some comments.
Yeah, like, and I think that's what this whole thing's about. Let's be honest. I think the whole thing is about them going, you know what, Malik, you kind of said some things that made DJ look bad this offseason. Why don't you pose for some pictures, just talk to him, joke around, laugh a little, maybe throw a ball around a little back and forth, and we'll take some pictures and
playing our hand catch.
Everybody will think you guys are besties now.
Yeah.
So, until I actually see something during a game, that's when I'll believe it. Like, if I see those guys like high-fiving each other and, the two of them are inseparable on the sidelines, that's when I'll believe there's a relationship. Because that's the relationship you want with your star quarterback and your star receiver. Not that Daniel Jones is a star quarterback, but you know what I mean. Your starting quarterback and your star.
I was going to say
that. So let's call it that way. Let's call it more.
He's the star of that quarterback room.
It's like, what's the smallest star? What's the smallest star in the universe? That's where we're at there. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how that develops over time. Again, he said some comments he definitely shouldn't have said leading up to the draft. That definitely is not going to help the relationship there. But in the end, guys just want to win, and winning solves a lot.
100%.
And if Bleav Neighbors makes Daniel Jones look better, Daniel Jones is going to get over those comments really quickly. And if Daniel Jones can just get Bleav Neighbors the damn ball, to borrow a phrase from Keyshawn Johnson, then he'll be fine as well. So, I won't read too much into the comments, pictures, good or bad yet. If we start seeing issues with them on the field, where they're not connecting, there's miscommunications like crazy, that's when you sit there and say, okay, that was all BS. That's not real. But otherwise, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there, guys. So, all right, let's pay the bills real quick. Let's pay those bills. Oh, yeah.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
All righty, we got Dakota in the house here saying love doesn't exist. That's what I'm keep telling you guys. I'm not picking on love because I don't think friendship exists. I feel like there's a movie quote going on here because we got a whole bunch of them involving, and I don't know which movie off the top of my head this is, but for some reason it is ringing the bell. So Dakota, let us know what movie that is. So
ring my bell.
We can see John says kept getting disconnected. He says I couldn't play guitar if I tried. Sadly, my dad's friend who lived across the street, Mr. C, knew I was having trouble with this older guy who knew a lot of karate. He would hit me a lot, wait for me. Oh my gosh, we're getting deep here. He said I know two things very well: guitar and taekwondo. I can teach you guitar or karate, your choice. He said you can learn guitar, maybe smash him in the head with a guitar, or I can teach you to handle him and his friends. He says, so I took private lessons for weeks and avoided him, and then my teacher said it's time to face him. What kind of teacher says that, John?
Yeah.
Is this also a movie? Am I missing something here? I feel like people are throwing movie quotes here up at me.
It's the theme of Karate Kid.
Yeah. Is that? No. He didn't teach him guitar.
Oh, it's the one with Jaden Smith.
Danielson, come here, learn guitar. Like, what the hell?
String on, tune in.
Paint the fence. Riff the guitar. Hit the whammy bar.
You learn guitar hero. Very good.
Oh
son.
my gosh. I can't be it. I can't be it. All righty, guys. Well, we will be back again here for you guys tomorrow night. Tomorrow.
You get us 3 nights in a row. How about them apples?
No, I didn't think about that. God damn, we did do that, didn't we?
We did.
Thanks to my computer issues. So yeah, tomorrow night, barring any big news, we'll be discussing the Edge group tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that one there. Time to talk a little Spida, a little Brian Burns, a little Kayvon Thibodeau, a little Zizo Jalari. We got a nice little group going on there now. So adding one big playtime player makes a big difference in a group like that. So we'll be back again there for you guys. As always, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter/X, which I think they're calling just X now. I think they finally moved over to calling it just X.
I think so.
I think so. Twitch, and of course, Rob's favorite,
Drew's LinkedIn.
Yeah, my LinkedIn profile. And as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms there, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google, all the fun ones there. So appreciate you guys listening in. If you haven't already, hit the like, hit that subscribe, share to a friend. If you listen on audio and video on different things, go on both and just hit away, hit the like, hit the subscribe, guys.
It really helps the podcast.
Oh, yes, it does. And if you're watching live with us right now on one of the platforms as well, hit the plus, the thumbs up, whatever it's symbol, whichever you're on there. Appreciate you guys listening in as always, watching in, all that kind of fun stuff. And as always, Giant fans,
this one's for Connor. Go G-Man!
G-Man! Go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.